Thank you and welcome to our special meeting regarding the Parks and Rec full evaluation. We have Yuri Fernandez with the presentation.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council members. As directed by the Council and the Mayor, Public Works Department was tasked of contracting with our consultant engineer to provide an evaluation on the condition of the existing pool at McFarland Rec Park. This evaluation was sent to us as a report, which included an engineering assessment, infrastructure status, and capital improvement options. Next slide, please. So, objective of the evaluation was to provide the City Council with objective data regarding the structural integrity, safety compliance, and long-term feasibility of the public pool at McFarland Park and Rec. This evaluation included a short-term, low-cost maintenance repair versus a long-term, code-compliant facility replacement. The short-term or low-cost maintenance repair option I like to call a Band-Aid repair, meaning it's just a temporary repair. So if you hear me mention that throughout the presentation, that's what I'm referring to as the short-term or the quickest option to try to get that pool back up and running. So just a little history, and correct me, some of these dates are wrong. I know some of you guys are lifelong residents here. Maybe we only recorded the information that was available to us. So, pool was constructed in 1981, open to the public. This pool was operated from 1981 to 2020, continuous seasons of community operations, and it was closed from 2020 to present. So this facility is over 40 years old, and the last time it was drained was in 2024 for emergency maintenance and system inspection. Some more specs on the pool. It's a 250,000 gallon capacity pool, over 6,700 square feet, just the pool, not including the additional site around the pool. So identified structural deficiencies. These are some of the more apparent deficiencies that we saw. Obviously, first thing you visit and you notice is the pool floor. Severely warped, buckled across the center section with extensive scratch relief cuts. Surface coating, epoxy paint is peeling off and flaking the entirety of the pool, including the floors and walls. Surrounding deck, concrete is cracking, and the southeast corner has sunk in 1 inch below the pool grade. Safety assessments. Gasket around pool lights are failing, handrail hardware is loose, diving boards require full structural safety checks. Just to highlight some of the pictures there, and these were the more apparent ones. I wish I could zoom in a little bit on these, but as you can see there on the first picture on your left-hand side, I mean, it almost looks like there's water underneath that shelf, but there's no water. It's just the aluminum that's buckled. And this happens because when the pool was drained, metal expands and contracts with the heat and the temperatures. So once some of this metal expands or contracts for an extended period of time, it doesn't go back to its original state. And the second picture there, I wanted to take this picture just to show it was one of the relief cuts that was done by either staff or McFarland Park and Rec, or maybe a contractor they got in the past. But you can see the subgrade or the rock that's underneath that shell there. Similar to another project that we had at the city with the wastewater liner, the biggest concern there is we have water gets underneath that liner, it compromises the subgrade because all the water starts seeping down to compact the subgrade, and therefore you have nothing to support that shell down below because the water has either washed away the compacted soil, and that's why you're probably seeing some exposed rock there. And the third picture here is just another picture of the weightiness and the relief cuts that you'll see throughout the floor of the entire pool. Here's some more pictures here. The picture on your left-hand side is the filtration system, which contains media, sand. I know you can barely see there's some analog dials there. All modern pools nowadays are digital. These modern dials with needles are no longer seen typically, or have been upgraded. And you still see here in this pool equipment room that they're still being monitored with analog dials, so those will definitely need to be upgraded. Second picture, just a little bit more of the pool warping, and the third picture is as you see at the deep end of the pool. It's all in really, really rough condition. mechanical system infrastructure risk. So pumping and circulation, I'm no pool expert, but the main distribution pumps are undersized. The way a pool operates is the pumps circulate the water through the filtration system, and also including any treatment of chlorine that gets pumped into the water. So pools are supposed to circulate that water to make sure it's filtered, and it's also treated with chlorine to kill any bacteria from people diving in or swimming in the pool. With those pumps being undersized, meaning they're not compatible or up to code nowadays to circulate that water at the required intervals that are per code. Worn seals and leaking into containment curve, that's in the equipment room, so there's pumps that are leaking, piping that are leaking. It's very evident by the wetness that you saw in that equipment room. And in general, it's not up to code or current industry standards. Water quality risk, single point water exchange system, meaning water is only pumped in from one location. Typically, modern pools are pumped from various locations throughout the pool. This one only has one single point of water exchange system, so that's why also it's probably not circulating at the rate that it should be per code. So the next bullet point here, poor circulation issues, and also water tightness cannot be guaranteed. We reached out to various contractors to try to get some cost for repairs. Some seem interested, but as soon as you send in pictures of how the condition of the pool is, it seems like it kind of scares them off. So, we do have a list at the end of the report of all the contractors we reached out to. We actually have only one person come out to try to analyze and potentially put a cost, but unfortunately we never got the cost from them. So in my future slides, you'll see a cost estimate for this repair or a Band-Aid repair. But the difficulty will be is to actually get somebody to want to come and work on this pool. Moving on to the filtration system, all the vessels are showing signs of corrosion with no record of media filtration replacement. So all the media or sand inside those vessels will definitely need to be replaced because there's no record of it ever being replaced. So with that said, high clogging risk. Don't know exactly what's in those vessels until we open them up and clean them out and replace them with new media. Moving on to control utilities, heaters have been offline for 15 years, and as I mentioned previously, obsolete analog controls, which will definitely have to be updated to digital controls. So localized repair, or as I mentioned before, a Band-Aid repair. The strategy would be to replace the warped center floor sheets that you've seen in the previous pictures, edge welds to seal the joints, apply epoxy coating, replace pumps, motors, sand media, and analog controls. Fiscal operation advantages of this repair would lower immediate capital cost for investment and faster mobilization and completion. Again, us finding a contractor willing to take upon this risk or repair for this project. Municipal risk and vulnerabilities does not fix the circulation or code compliance issues. Requires year-round pool operation to prevent structural warping. Delays, but does not resolve long-term facility replacement needs. And this next bullet point is a big one, is insurability. There was also a report completed for this pool by the McFarland Park and Rec in 2022, which stated that an insurance company that they had at that time was not willing to insure it, even with the repairs that were potentially trying to be made. So that's one of the options that we didn't really look into as far as having an insurance company or reaching out to insurance companies to see if they would insure even after we repair the pool. So that's still up in the air, that we would have to still dive into that issue there. And as previously mentioned, most importantly, finding a contractor that is willing to do the work. That's a big one to me. I feel like contractors aren't willing to put the risk or put their name on something that may potentially fail. Because at the end of the day, if something ever does fail, the first question that's going to be asked is, who did the work? So that's probably why it probably scares contractors away from doing any of these repairs or the Band-Aid repair. If we were lucky enough to find a contractor willing to take upon that risk, this is the probable construction cost for a localized repair. And I summarized, there's a bigger breakdown on the report, which I'll share with all of you, but this is the majority or the big line items that I posted here, which is a total projected cost of $562,030.
Go ahead, Julius.
So yeah, so some of these line items, if you want to go through each line item, pool coating and sheet metal repair, $280,000. Demolition, earthwork, as I mentioned before, recompact upgrade and mobilization for $94,000. New pool decking and crack sealing. This is, like I said, putting a banding on the pool deck for $36,260. ADA compliance, and this is just putting a pool chair and lid and handrails. This is not making the entire deck ADA compliant. That's $40,000. I think this is very conservative, but pumps, mechanical, medium, electrical upgrades, $18,000. 20% contingency, which comes to our total of $562,000. Moving on to the second option that we
Hold on, Julius, go back real quick. As far as the insurance, are you talking about the insurance from the Parks and Rec or the insurance from the city of McFarland, since we're paying for it?
Well, that's probably something to discuss with Park and Rec or the agreement that is signed with the Park and Rec, who would have to insure the facility, depending if, we take ownership or the Park and Rec take ownership.
Yeah.
Depending on who.
Well, yeah, the thing is, we're paying for it to be repaired, but there's no warranty on it for it.
Correct.
Right, thank you.
So moving on to our second option, which is a full facility replacement. The strategy would be to demolish the existing aluminum pool structure, construct a reinforced shotcrete pool, install upsized circulation system, and upgrade the mechanical systems. Municipal advantages, fully resolve code and circulation issues, reduce long-term maintenance costs, provide multi-decade facility lifespan. Fiscal considerations, high upfront capital investment requires expanded ADA upgrades, including restrooms, parkways, and showers. So just another thing to point out is on this evaluation that we did, we strictly focused on the pool itself. The main priority was to try to figure out options to get just the pool operational. So we didn't really go into the locker room, we didn't go into the restroom, so that may open another Pandora's box of issues that could potentially trigger ADA requirements if we're doing a full reconstruction on the pool. And that's my third bullet point, which is a full site compliance triggered by reconstruction. Probable construction costs. And as mentioned, this is just the pool. This is not taking into account any upgraded restrooms or anything else that needs to be upgraded. Because when you do a reconstruction, you have to go and make sure the parking lot is ADA compliant, the path of travel from the parking lot to the pool is ADA compliant, and your locker rooms are ADA compliant, so everything.
Access is ADA compliant.
And the pool access is ADA compliant, so it just opens up a big can of worms. So yeah, so this is the total project cost of just the pool is $5,826,600. This is the estimate. So new pool shell, piping, mechanical, and deck equipment, $2.7 million. All new pool deck construction, $757,000. Mandated ADA path of travel upgrades just around the pool, $747,000. Design and engineering costs, 10% of the project cost of $373,500. Existing structure and deck demolition, $250,000 for a subtotal of $4,555,500, and including a 20% contingency for engineering. So on my last slide, strategic capital comparisons. So as mentioned, the Band-Aid repair, the number doesn't look that bad, but again, finding the contractor willing to take the risk to do the repairs, short-term access, aging infrastructure, ongoing liability, and limited lifespan. But I think the biggest thing is doing this Band-Aid repair. Whoever owns the pool is subjecting themselves to liability, and the insurance companies know this, so they may not be willing to insure that facility after just doing these Band-Aid repairs. Option two, as just talked about, is a complete replacement of the pool, which is a total of $5,826,600 cost estimate. But it will get you fully quote compliant, long-term facility, reduced maintenance, and a major capital investment. So in a nutshell, that's what the report included. As mentioned, there's more details in that report. But I'm here and open to answer any questions that you may have or any details that you would like me to go further. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernest, for that exceptional report as far as one and the other. Sometimes you gotta take a risk and gamble depending on the amount of money, but I think what we discussed and advocated for the last couple of years was bringing a pool for the community. We've been here for a very long time. We're able to share that pool when we were growing up, some of our family members as well. We made that message to our community that we're going to measure where we were going to utilize that funding. But honestly, my opinion, recommendation, I mean, we gotta have a serious discussion with the school as well. Parks and Rec, as far as contributing to this huge community necessity. I'm gonna open it up to the council. I mean, my recommendations go option 2, because that's what we relate to the community regarding prevention. So, obviously, still go out and see if any contractor put it out for bid. The other one, move forward with option 2 and go from there. I'm gonna open it up to the council. We'll start with Mr. Gutierrez, Councilmember Gutierrez, his opinion or any recommendation.
My opinion would also be option 2. Honestly, finding the money. Finding the money would be, I guess, something that we would have to figure that out. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but I would hopefully want to go for option 2.
I agree, option 2.
Obviously,
Mr.
option
Rose.
2 is the one that makes more sense. There's no guarantee with option 1. But the hard thing about option 2 is the fact that this is not our building. We do not own, we're not gonna own this. And, it's unfortunate that we weren't able to get this information a while back when we were really wanting it, so that we could actually, know if this is something that we want to move forward. As the mayor mentioned, this was something that was, implemented with the tax, the increase. I don't know how obligated we are to follow through with that, just because we didn't have this information in front of us back in.
That is a general tax, so it can be utilized. It's not specific for one purpose. But one of the problems that I see with the long-term potential is you don't own, or option 2, you don't own the building. And that is for the pool. Financing becomes almost impossible unless we can get the Parks and Rec to enter into like a joint powers agreement where you then have authority over the pool. But they would have to give some type of almost ownership in order to do some long-term financing. Because no bank's going to do that for something you don't own.
That,
Yeah.
we wanna, follow through with our word to the community that we were gonna get them the pool. But, we didn't have that, support from the park this year, to be able to go in there and get this information. Yeah. So, that's where I stand on that one. It is hard.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
Well, it all started because the Parks and Rec strengthened the pool. And now we're inheriting this issue. But, I think the question is option 1, option 2. I mean, option 1 is throwing money away, not even knowing if it's gonna work. So option 2 is obviously a better option. And it's a better option than the Parks and Recs that came with, because I believe they wanted to bring out a bond for like $15 million to either replace or repair the pool at the time. So, like Mayor had said at the beginning, so I wouldn't have advocated for us to take on this responsibility. This was one of his biggest push was to go ahead and bring in the pool. And we knew that according to the Parks and Rec, it was $15 million. So this is much better than $15 million. I believe that's what Saul was telling me. So credit to Saul. But I just want to reiterate this. This is a Parks and Recs issue that the city is going to come in and try to solve. I know there's a lot of legality and banks and whatnot behind it, but 5-6 years ago we came in with many issues. We've solved many of them with the entire council, and I'm sure that we can continue to solve this issue in the city, which is bringing a much needed pool to our community. How much does a pool cost when we can start building pools in residential homes or something? But I mean, we don't even know, right? So there's still more behind that, right? There's the restrooms, which are
Good potential.
I'm sure they're behind schedule, and I know their parking lot hasn't even been repainted since probably the 1980s when they built it. So, yeah, I mean, residents, if you're listening, vote for a better board for the Parks and Recs, so they can make better decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, council, for your comments and recommendations. This is important not only to us, but to the community, to the children, family members. It's a basic need that's needed. I understand the fiscal responsibility about the money, but if we, as a council, said we wanted to help out with the pool, obviously we didn't have the information, but we knew for a new pool what the cost was going to be. Vice Mayor, you're absolutely right. It's not 15 million, it's 5 million, so at least we got that information accurate. This is what we propose to the community. We can't start backpedaling and not keeping our word, especially for the voters that voted for this. For that, regardless if it's a general tax, this is the issue that we went out and advocated for. Not only us, but the community. That's why we always put things in the ballot so that the community can make that decision for us. And I know it's a huge amount of money, but we're close to 20,000 residents now. A lot of these individuals don't have that basic need of swimming. And if we've tackled so many challenges in 5 years, from reconstructing over 50 roads, bringing in a police facility, bringing in new staff, bringing in 3 new water wells, bringing in expansion, annexing over 3,000 acres of land, bringing a new police facility. I mean, the victories continue, and this is another victory that this council and the city staff and administration is going to endure for the next, whatever it takes, 6 months to the next year, and we're going to get through it. It's something that the community definitely needs. It's a big amount of money, and I think the individuals that don't want the pool for whatever reason, that's their own, but this is why we put it on the ballot, and our people voted. If we don't listen to the people, then what are we doing here? So at the end of the day, we got your recommendations, and I think the option is, if everybody's in favor, and I know being fiscal responsible for our taxpayers' money is why we signed up. But at the end of the day, we also relayed that message to our community that we're going to get this done. So, all in favor for option 1? All in favor for option 2?
Aye.
Okay. The Madam Clerk, everybody voted for option 2, correct?
Yes.
Okay. This is just, now everybody said yes. All in favor? Yes. Unanimous. Option 2, Diego Yurlis, and we'll work through the process and see how we get everything going. But this is gonna be a trifecta as far as the different entities having skin in the game, because it impacts the whole community. So, I don't know about building new facilities or buildings. I think we need to get this pool going. So, but thank you. Is there any other items? Yurlis? All right, thank you everybody for attending, and if you're viewing the live stream, this presentation was very informative on the cost and the cost and what's it gonna bring to this community. Thank you everybody, have a good night. It's been a long day, Thank you for reading our live stream or attending earlier. Have a good evening, a good night. That ends our special meeting for tonight. Thank you.